We are back at it with another edition of Litter Media Live here on Facebook Live with Mike Smith. I'm Dan Ramey, and we didn't turn on the camera, Mike.
How about that?
So
Be
Mike's,
radio for a while.
Mike's going to take care of the camera while I am radio for a while, as he says. He said, we're all set up and ready to go. I just walked in from the Chillicothe Intermediate School just moments ago. There we are. And
Probably
had the science fair today.
less blood that I have from my doctor's visit. I'm a little lightheaded.
It wasn't rushing to his brain. So this is what happens when you let the kids, set things up and ready to go. So it will be interesting because I've not looked at the program yet. So I'm taking Mike's word for everything. So, but I trust him, or else I wouldn't be sitting next to him.
I can't.
So you had a blood test today, is that right?
They took blood. They gave me a tetanus shot because I haven't had one in 10 years.
Okay.
And
so you're okay to step on nails
took
now?
a mole off my back. Shall I go on?
That depends how far they went.
Well, off my back, yeah.
No, I mean other things.
I got one thing off my back today. I got to get one other, and then we'll be all right. Yeah,
here we go. Welcome to a decent-looking day outside. It's a little windy, so do have to be cautious of that. But while I was leaving the elementary school, it's been a while since I've been on a playground. Hearing all that activity, and I remember being one of those kids. Hats off to those of you that are the recess monitors. I know you're not watching right now unless you're watching the replay of this, but they've got their hands full.
Jimmy, really get off that.
Don't run through that mud. What are you doing? Use your head. Mm-hmm. No, don't put their head in the mud. Don't. So, yeah. All right. Ooh, that's cool. The camera froze for a moment.
You froze for a moment there.
It would be in one of those pausing moments where I'm pointing at something. Mm-hmm. All right, coming up, we've got news, we've got sports, and this date in history. But first we want to look at the weather. And the temperature's going to drop here.
Yeah, you talked about breezy. Well, look at what it says in that last sentence. Between Thursday and Friday, temperatures will drop nearly 50 degrees.
Like a rock.
But in the meantime, breezy with sunshine today, a high 53, partly cloudy overnight tonight with a low 36. Rain and 66 tomorrow. We're going to see that breezy condition return with warmer weather on Thursday, high 72. That's when it plummets the next day on Friday. But as we've been talking the last few days, that's been the pattern counting this Thursday, the last 3 Thursdays.
Yeah, we've been conditioned for it. There's no question, because I think it was last Saturday I noticed the temperature had dropped 40 degrees from what it was the day before.
We used to talk about how the gas prices changed from Thursday to Friday. Now it's the weather.
Yeah. And that still happens as well. Just I saw $1. Was it? No, not $1.
I saw under $2.97 on one place today.
Yeah, $2.95 is what I saw on the way in this morning. Then I saw $3.09, $3.49, or $3.29, and all. Mm-hmm. So it just
all over the place.
Depends on where you go for whatever reason. I completely. I've heard people say it's not because of the gas they have inside the tank right there, but it's what the market is doing, how it fluctuates, and where they have to get the gas from. And so that's why, from whatever reason, if you go closer to a refinery, it's less expensive.
Makes sense. Less travel.
Yeah. But again, your guess is as good as mine on all this, too. All right, coming up, we'll look at news and see what's happening there for you today. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Scioto Valley Dumpsters. Look at that. We had Mike with an orange shirt. You've got an orange dumpster.
Yes, sir.
Mike is a dumpster today. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, if you've got a need, if you've got a big project going on, building, whatever the case may be, and you're getting rid of a lot of material, maybe you're cleaning out a house you just bought, Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389. News is next.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. letting you know about the good stuff going on in our community. And where are we starting today, Mike?
We're going to look ahead just about a week, only it's going to be a new month. March is DD month, and there's an art showcase to commemorate that for the Pioneer Center. That'll be held at the Pump House Center for the Arts. The art showcase opening night will be March the 2nd, and that runs from 6:30 to 8:30. There'll be refreshments served. The month will be full of fun, and you can be a part of it. You can join the Ross Board of DD at the Pump House, as we said, on March the 2nd for their yearly art showcase. It's free, and it's open to the public.
One of the things they've got coming up later in the year is a basketball game. And I'll be the public address announcer for that
right?
basketball game. It's
But
March
that won't
29th.
be at the Pump House, I'm assuming.
No, that'll be at OUC.
Gotcha. And that's where they've been playing most of their
Yes.
games, at least home games this season. Paper City Coffee Mentorings Project has teamed up with the Life Ready program and Epic again to bring you their 2023 Future Fair. The Future Fair will be held at Ohio University Chillicothe March 30th and 31st and is open to all area high school juniors and seniors. The event allows networking with community professionals, and you can learn valuable life skills. The Pike County Village of Beaver is pursuing ways to raise monies to support the maintenance and improvement of their park. They currently have 3 ball diamonds, a concession stand with a seating area, restrooms, a small pond for fishing, a large shelter house, a walking track, and a playground. Now, Beaver Village Council has developed a donation plan to raise enough money to keep the park fund in the positive, that is financially, for several years, which will then allow the community to use and enjoy the park for years to come. And this is a letter that was sent out by the mayor of Beaver to the community, and you can see the different levels of sponsorships, whether you're an individual or a business, to participate in that. Happy birthday, or happy anniversary, however you want to choose it. Pike Heritage Foundation has announced their Board of Trustees as they celebrate their 40th anniversary. You saw they started in 1983, and there are your officers. Bruce Overley is the president. Vice president is Mike Patterson, and the treasurer, Sue Thomas, and secretary, Tally Pratt.
Have you ever seen the organ inside this museum? It's a former church, and this big pipe organ.
Been by it, the church, that is, or the museum, but I don't know that I've ever been inside of it.
Yeah, well, maybe we should take the Litter Media cameras down there one of these days and take a tour.
Of course, when I worked there in 1979, it was not a museum.
I was going to say it was probably a church back then.
Yeah, really. So,
For whatever reason, I want to say this was a Catholic church. I think that's the
can't
case.
speak to. Yeah, I've just been by it. So check it out, and you'll find out a lot more. Maybe you can then write Dan and I as to what it is. Ohio State Fair announcing their first cluster of concerts taking place for this summer. The 12-day Ohio State Fair will feature a total of 13 shows, including 2 free concerts. Concert and event series will feature a diverse selection of entertainment that appeals to many Ohioans and out-of-state fairgoers, including pop, rock, country, R&B, contemporary Christian, and comedy. You're going to be there?
It would be comedy.
You and Lori Graves maybe are teaming up.
If I tried to perform some sort of music set, it would be comedy, yes.
Yeah. But the tickets go on sale 10 a.m. on Friday of this week.
Ludacris is going to be there.
I saw that, yeah. I can't say that I could tell you anything that they perform, but I did see that name.
Well, Ludacris is a guy, and he is, I can't tell you any of his songs either, but I've seen a lot of him in, he does act. So he's been in the Fast and Furious movies and all. So
I'm sure he's got a band behind him. So
yeah.
There you go. Sports coming up, a lot to tell you about there as well in the high school.
It is tournament time, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right, we want to tell you about Accurate Heating, Cooling, Plumbing. If you have issues in your home where you're not comfortable because of heating, cooling, or plumbing, they are your trusted comfort advisor. Click on this ad anywhere you see it at littermedia.com, and it will take you right to their website where you can learn more. And coming up later today, we are scheduled to have a visit with Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center, Adult Education, and they are preparing for an upcoming academy No, it's not the Academy, like the Academy Awards, but the Basic Peace Officer Academy, which is about to take place.
Begins March 6th, and cadets must pass a physical fitness test and other requirements before the full program begins.
And I just received confirmation it'll be at 3 o'clock.
Your interview, that is.
3 o'clock
Yes.
today.
Okay.
Your chance to learn more about Pickaway Ross CTC Adult Education.
At Rathkamp Financial, we act as your advocate in all wealth matters. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust with our customized investment solutions. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
If sweat is your body's natural way of cooling itself down, then condensation is a beer's natural way of saying, drink me. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer.
Time to head to the pool to start our sportscast today.
Yes, sir. Actually, this qualification took place over the weekend, but our story went up yesterday. 7 area high school swimmers will be participating in the OHSAA State Diving and Swimming Championships. The diving takes place today and tomorrow. The swimming prelims don't actually get underway until Thursday. Now, here are your local participants. Mason Francis of Warren High School will be in 2 events, as you can see. Ryan Bloom of Chillicothe in the 100 butterfly. Jake Bird of Chillicothe in 2 different events. That's the 200 freestyle and 500 is that freestyle? Is that right,
Yes.
or is that butterfly? Couldn't remember.
He's got 700 yards to swim.
Ouch. And the girls, Katie Boggs of Wheelersburg in the 100 breaststroke, and then Lindsay Bright of Logan Elm and Caitlin Friedrich of Athens are both in the 200 freestyle and the 500 freestyle.
They will be doing the same thing Jake Bird is doing.
Yeah, so congratulations to all of those participants, and we wish them the best. I don't know that we've ever had an individual local athlete win a swimming championship.
Yeah, I can't say that they are state champions, no. We've had several district champions.
So why not this be the first?
Absolutely.
Let's see them all come back with some.
They're all doing this up in Canton, Thursday and Friday.
All right. Well, again, the diving starts today.
Right.
But the swimming starts on Thursday.
I'm surprised we don't have more divers. We don't have any divers participating.
Well, you got to have a platform and all that to do it. So that's the way it
could have
goes.
something to do with it.
Also in tournament action, bowling. And yesterday at Chillicothe's Shawnee Lanes, the Ironton Fighting Tigers and Eastern Lady Warriors claimed the boys and girls Division II district championships, respectively. Now, only one team from boys and girls goes to the state, and only one individual not on a qualifying team moves on. Now, St. Trace and Westfall, boys and girls respectively, were runner-ups, but they do not qualify. Now, the individual bowlers that are going to the state tournament that are not on a qualifying team include Jake Ward of White Oak and Brianna Reynolds of Rock Hill. Now, this is a funny story. When I was getting there yesterday to take some photos, and we had some of those on our Twitter page earlier in the day, I bumped into Rihanna, and I said, how did it go? She says, I don't know yet. I'm one pin behind the leader individually. If she is on the district champion team, I get to go to the state. If they don't, I'm out. Well, Eastern did, so Rihanna's in. So congratulations to Rihanna of Rock Hill. Basketball. Last night, boys and girls action. The girls got underway with district play. As you can see there, Division II at Logan High School, Fairland ran their record to 24-0 with a 61-23 win over Circleville. Fairfield Union rallied to beat Marietta 45-40. Then, of course, in Division II at Piketon, Uniota Lady Shermans, they go to 24-0 with a 70-47 win over New Lex. They'll take on Sheridan at 9 o'clock Friday night at Southeastern High School for the district championship. Sheridan, a big winner over Athens, 73-49. Up in the Central District, Aphocentric ended Liberty Union's season, as did Worthington Christian over the girls of Amanda Clear Creek. Now, in boys action last night, this was Division IV sectional semifinals. As you can see, Ironton, St. Joe, Sims Valley, New Boston, Manchester, and South Gallia were all winners. New Boston advances to play Paint Valley at Paint Valley this Friday at 7 o'clock in their Division IV sectional championship. And Division III boys are the bill of fare tonight for high school tournament action. Also, another note to pass along to you. We just got word of this morning. I guess Zane Trace is having a pep rally for the football gold champs as well as the basketball gold champs.
And there's some particular information in there, so I need to track it down. I forwarded it on to you, hoping you had all that details, and then I walked in.
Well, I've got
before
it.
The show started here.
What you gave me. Also, the girls bowling team, they won the gold pin. I don't know that that's an SVC sanctioned sport, but this will be tomorrow night from 6 to 8 at Zane Trace Gymnasium. The boosters are giving away free hot dogs, chips, drink, and the first 200 people will receive a T-shirt. And a special presentation will be made by the Ross County Commissioners. Apparently, this is the first time in the same school year that a school has won the gold football and the gold basketball in the Scioto Valley Conference.
Which is news to me, but I didn't know if you had that knowledge or
I
not,
would have to
Mr.
go home
SVC.
and look it up because I've got all that information at home.
Uh-huh.
But I don't want to call anybody a fibber there, so we'll just assume for now.
Because that would ruin everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
So,
You have to cancel the whole
Mr.
thing.
Wet Blanket here.
Mike, no. As far as I know, that very well could be accurate. And the Ohio State women basketball team got back on the winning track last night with a 74-61 win over that team up north. Michigan sweeping the regular season between those two schools.
It was kind of funny when I heard this on the radio this morning. I heard an announcer say, Ohio State upset Michigan. Well, Ohio State has dropped so far in the rankings that they were below Michigan in the rankings, which I think was 12th. And Ohio State, I think, is still in the top 20. But, we think back, and they were just
number 2.
Hot as a firecracker.
$2 pistol, as the late Grant McDonald used to say.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And that's a look at sports.
Okay.
1885 is where we're heading here in just a little bit.
Okie dokes. All right. Let's see. McDonald's. Let's jump right into this.
I'm having my lunch there today. You going with me?
Well, I'm heading out to Southeastern High School next. I've got a
you got to eat, right? On your way.
McDonald's on East Main Street is on the way.
That's right.
To Southeastern.
That's right.
So, yeah, it's just, I may have to take a little detour, but yes is the answer to McDonald's. It's my kind of place. And we have open interview time tomorrow in which you can meet with the managers at each one of our local McDonald's locations, 4 here in Chillicothe, in Circleville, in Greenfield, and in Waverly. If you're looking for work, they are looking for team workers, so crew members as they call them. So if you want to be a part of the McDonald's crew, they're looking for you. And if you are managerial material, they're always looking for managers as well. So get more details and you stop in at McDonald's, or you can click on any McDonald's ad that you see at littermedia.com. It takes you to their careers website where you can apply at any McDonald's around the world.
Wow.
Well, why would you want to if you can work right here locally, right?
I like being here.
McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
Coming up, a look at this date in history.
Hi, I'm Dave Pinkerton with Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, your local heating and cooling expert. If you want quality service, quality installation, give Advanced Services a call, 740-773-4499.
Introducing Budweiser Zero. 0% alcohol, 0 grams of sugar, full Budweiser flavor. For all the moments you want a beer and need to stay on your game. Budweiser Zero. Zero compromise.
This is Big Chillicothe. Horizon's 100% fiber internet service is coming to your area. Call 740-772-8331 or visit horizonconnects.com/Chillicothe to sign up today.
It's time to get serious about your lawn. It's time to step up to the best mower brand money can buy. For nearly 4 decades, Skag has been the easy choice for lawn care professionals. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best when it comes to mowing your lawn. There's sure to be a Skag model that's perfect for your yard, big or small. Make your lawn the envy of the neighborhood. Visit your local Skag dealer today. Skag, simply the best.
Time to learn at the feet of Mr. History, the icon, Mike Smith.
1885. The Washington Monument, built in honor of America's Revolutionary War hero and first president, George Washington, is dedicated in the nation's capital. The 555-foot high marble obelisk was first proposed in 1783. That's 102 years earlier by Pierre L'Enfant. Well, it left room for his designs for the new U.S. Capitol. After Washington's death in 1799, plans for a memorial for the father of the country were discussed, but none were adopted until 1832, the centennial of Washington's birth. Architect Robert Mills' hollow Egyptian obelisk design was accepted for the monument, and on July 4th of 1848, the cornerstone was laid. But the political strife leading up to the Civil War delayed construction until Congress, inspired by the American Centennial of 1876, passed legislation appropriating $200,000 for completion of the monument. And I think if you look closely enough, about a little more than a quarter of the way up, the stone color changes. And it's because they had laid that much stone, and then after the Civil War, when they came back some 10 years later, they couldn't match it up perfectly. So that is why you see the little bit of different shading in the color of the stone in the Washington Monument.
Our sidewalk at Ramey Ranch is like that.
You had a delay after your Civil War.
There was a delay, brief Civil War there in Pike County, and then we got things back together. No, they ran out of cement.
Ooh.
And so they had to remix some to finish out the sidewalk, and it's a different color.
You know, I was told the other day by a fellow that I know that works in cement, concrete, and he said sometimes cement right now is hard to get. Some of the plants that make it, and you know, we've been around cement, you know, walking on it. But when I asked him, I said, what's cement really made out of? He said, you know, I don't know. I just pick it up and pour it out. So.
It's a powdered sediment.
Yeah.
And that gets mixed with gravel. It depends on how thick you want it to be. And
is there sand in it too?
And all that. You can mix it with sand as well. And next thing you know, you've got concrete. Now you can even go buy a bag of Quickcrete and just add water. Yeah. And you get things done. That's for when you're putting post holes in.
I think when we did the story about the Hoover Dam being built during the WPA days, they were talking about so much of that cement was being poured in at the same time. And you know how high Hoover Dam is. It's so hot that they said all of these years later, that's still cooling internally. I can't even fathom that all these years it's still cooling in there.
And you would think all the water that it's holding back, the water would cool some of that, but you've got the desert heat on the other side of it as well. So, and like you say, it's so wide.
I don't know whether the friction or the you know, what it's comprised of, I don't know, but fascinating. We need to have a concrete guy on sometime and explain all of this.
Make sure you have concrete answers.
You were at a science fair today. Apparently, they weren't talking about cement and any of these things.
No, they didn't do that at all. But there were some neat projects kids were doing. Of course, STEM is the big deal now. They're making sure that you have the science, technology, the engineering, and the mathematics to go along with it. But there were a lot of things. They were studying attitudes. They were studying reaction times to things. Do athletes actually have better reaction than non-athletes? And one of the first ones that I did, and I'm not going to tell you who the kids are because you know their parents, but one of them corked a bat, went through the whole process, and then tried to determine, does a corked bat actually help a player? Another thing that we looked at was batteries. Which is the best battery? And the young man tested Duracell. These are AA batteries. Tested Duracell, Energizer, and a generic brand, which had CVS on the label. And I was thoroughly impressed with his analysis of this whole thing.
I need to find out the results of his study because we have stock in one of those companies.
Well, he said in his findings, the Duracell battery had the best start, but it died first.
Really?
Energizer didn't have the same starting power, nor did the generic brand. But the generic brand died out about the same time the Duracell did, and the Energizer, that little bunny, keeps going right along.
Yes!
And I asked him, I said, so as a consumer, which one would you purchase? And he says, the Energizer, are you kidding?
Thank you, Lord.
So according to a 5th grade scientist at Chillicothe Intermediate School, Energizer is the better battery.
Wasn't that a show that...
Are you smarter than a 5th
Yeah,
grader?
there you go. So...
And I'm not.
Yeah.
But it was neat to see members of the community come together and to judge these projects the kids are doing. Can't give you any results because they are still tallying the results. But kids from this one will go on to the district competition, and they'll be handing out some superior awards. Everybody gets an award, but there are some who stood out, and so they will they'll get an award as well.
I know the high schools used to have their own science fairs, and then they would send their winners to like a district competition at OU.
Right.
I think my wife, well, she wasn't my wife then, she did one on the life of an amoeba.
Really?
I don't even know what an amoeba is. I've never explained that one to me, but she was the brains in the family, folks. Yeah.
I had a mouse, and I built a maze, and I took this panel board. Dad had remodeled a downstairs bedroom at the
This isn't going to
house.
get you in trouble with PETA, is it?
No.
Okay.
But I put together a maze, and I used some of that panel board that he had to create my whole design, laid it out, and then I had a little white mouse, and I had an eyedropper, and I gave it a few drops of whiskey, and then put him into the maze. I didn't go through the maze sober, and then put him through the maze a little snookered.
Happy.
Just to determine the difference in the time. And that was for our local fair we had. I advanced to the district, and by that time, I couldn't use the animal. I had to video it. So this was my first filming experience.
How about
was
that?
with this mouse, and my brother had an 8mm camera, and we videotaped this. Well, I guess back then we filmed it. This mouse doing its antics and making its way to its cage, which I had an opening in the maze right to his cage. And so then when it came time for the regional science fair at Otterbein, here I am. I have taken poster board. I made my own little theater, and I had the camera and everything. And we rolled the tape, and they watched how things. I didn't make it to the state level, but I did get to the regional.
I thought you were going to tell me by the time they got to the regionals, that mouse was so crocked, he didn't respond to anything.
We put him into a program later. And,
or like Johnny Fever, the more he drank, the more sober he acted. Yeah.
And there was a young kid who did that kind of demonstration as well. He tested 4 subjects, wanted to see if 2 were video gamers, 2 were not, and their reaction time.
Yeah.
And I asked him, I said, did they know what game they were playing? I said, well, no, it wasn't a game they were playing. He found a tester on this website that would test your reaction. So you would watch this red screen, and you'd be in trouble since you're colorblind, but red screen, and then it would turn green. You have to click the button for your reaction time. And he said the difference was like 128 milliseconds.
That's fast.
Between gamers and non-gamers.
How about that?
So that tells me there was a difference, but not a big difference.
Not a big difference.
But in that WKRP in Cincinnati episode, Johnny was right on it.
Yeah.
The more drunk.
The more he drunk,
and
yeah.
poor
Venus
flytrap, he couldn't find it there for a while. And he was just laughing his way through it. That was one of the most entertaining episodes I remember of WKRP in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Did you ever, and before we started working together, did you take that TV show and start saying, okay, yeah, Les Nessman is this guy, and
Oh, yeah.
the big guy is this guy.
Yeah. 1979 is when I first got into radio, and KRP was still on in 79. So there were so many things that they did. Whoever wrote that knew what was going on in radio stations because it was too close to be an accident. So.
Wasn't there an evangelical guy, or maybe he owned the funeral home that sold the worms, the wiggly worms?
Could be.
You remember that? He was a sponsor, and they wanted to do something about the wiggly. So they were all singing the jingle about the wiggly worms. Never did we work with Alani Anderson.
No.
There were a handful of Baileys, and every station had a Johnny Fever.
Of course, Les Nessman. I guess that's me. The geek with the glasses. I didn't win any hog awards like he did.
That's right. That's right, for the farm reports.
Venus, of course, the night guy, light the candles in the dark studio.
Yeah. And that smooth delivery and everything.
I'm just thinking of personalities that I work with over the years, then their names are coming to my mind. I won't, reveal them here, but we have all worked with. It's kind of like Don Knotts and Barney Fife's character. We all know somebody like that.
Well, what's funny is Arthur Carlson, who is the general manager. He was the Maytag repairman in TV commercials prior to this, and I always felt he was more like our buddy Mac, who was our chief engineer here locally in Chillicothe. But Mac didn't run the station. Yeah. He just made sure the station was able to stay on the air. Right. But I pictured him physically compared with Mr. Carlson more so. And then the falling turkeys out of the sky. It was one of the
time that I don't know how it got to be in the studio. Somebody had cocaine, and Mr. Carlson thought it was foot powder. And put it in his shoe. And when they told him what happened, he said, "Oh no, I got a monkey on my foot."
Wasn't that when they hired a new DJ and he was taking payola and they were slipping drugs in the album covers and all?
Wow. Yeah.
And they did handle, remember when they had the unfortunate circumstance of the concert in which people were killed during the Who concert because they were general admission seating and they were crushing their way. And unfortunately, I can't remember how many people died. Yeah. Was it 18, 20?
I don't remember the exact, but I remember where I was when I watched that. My wife, we'd just gotten married a month before, and we were watching that in the house that we were renting. And, of course, usually they finish the show with the jazzy rock music. Well, that episode was kind of like some MASH episodes where there was no music because of the solemn situation.
And I thought they handled it pretty well. That was the first time, I think, in my life I'd seen a comedy show handle a serious subject. Right. And like you bring up MASH, they handled a lot of serious subject. Of course, they poked fun as much as they could about the war and everything else that they were portraying for us, man. So, we kind of talked radio today.
Yes, we did.
In that respect. So, all right, that's it for the program today. Are you off tomorrow?
I'm here tomorrow.
You're here tomorrow, but off Thursday.
And we have a special edition also tomorrow morning with our Pickaway County feature tomorrow.
Maria Wilbanks,
right? Yes, she'll be with us tomorrow at sometime between 9:45 and 10.
She was the Pickaway County representative in Dance for Kids' Sake if you were at that event, and you'll say, hey, why isn't she wearing her sparkly gold outfit?
Yeah, I think she's in Sunrise Rotary, but she wears many hats, so we'll find out a lot about what's going on.
I believe she's the president of Sunrise Rotary. All right, that's it for the program. We're back at it again this afternoon at 3 o'clock. We'll talk about Pickaway Ross Career and Technology Center's basic law enforcement program. That is coming up. And then tomorrow, the special edition from Pickaway County. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. For Mike Smith, the Icon, I'm Dan Ramey.